evidently. I'm waiting for the live streaming has started notification. Did you hear it? Did we get it? Are we live?
I think I heard her say the words, but
yeah.
Folks, I hit the live stream. I think we should be live. Oh yeah, we're live. Folks, welcome to another meeting of the Pirate National Committee. It is the last one of 2025, which means we made it through another year and we're still not dead yet. Folks, I am Jolly Mitch of the Chicagoland Nye, the Illinois Pirate Party, and as always, captain of the United States Pirate Party and friend of the show. I will go around looking for IDs, and the first person I see is Mr. Captain Emeritus Drew Bingaman.
Drew Bingaman, Pennsylvania.
Shouldn't have Yeah, I'll let everyone else ID themselves. My apologies, Drew. A little zealous tonight. Next up, I see West Virginia.
Hello, it's Ty Clifford here, Vice Captain of the United States Pirate Party and West Virginia Observer.
Thank you. Indiana.
Hello, everyone. This is Ashley Malady, the still, as of yet, interim rep for the Indiana Pirates.
The longest, bestest interim rep we've ever had. Florida.
Wanda Ward, the Florida Pirate Party and U.S. Pirate Party Lookout.
Thank you. Arizona.
Hello, Blaze Henry, Arizona Captain, Arizona Pirate Party Captain, and United States Pirate Party Scribe.
Most excellent. Thank you, Blaze. Cy.
Good evening. My name is Cy. I am handling public relations from the Treasure State itself, Montana.
Thank you, Montana, for the ID. And I did call you by name because earlier I mixed up one letter and called him Ty earlier, and I'm still ringing on that one. Massachusetts.
Eli McGee, Massachusetts representative.
Thank you, Eli. Let's get the ID from Ohio.
Yep. Sorry. I'm Mars. I'm from Ohio. I'm currently at work, so I'm gonna be muted.
Well, I appreciate the transparency, and I appreciate you still making it. Texas.
Morgan Landry, Texas Pirate Party, U.S. Pirate Party admin. Still working on my home lab. Internet connection might be spotty.
Thank you. Much appreciated. North Carolina.
Hello, it's James from North Carolina.
Thank you, James. And then, David, I saw you just pop in there. We're doing IDs.
Yep, I'm one of the reps of Florida.
Well, thank you kindly. And for the record, which will be the voting member for Florida tonight?
That'll be me.
Muchas gracias. Well, thank you everyone for attending. As you know, this is the last meeting of 2025, and as such, I think it's an appropriate time to look back at the year, what we did right, what we did wrong, and more importantly, what we plan on doing moving forward in 2026 and beyond. Before we get into that, obviously, I wanted to open the floor and ask if there was any state news, any candidate news, any updates you wanted to hear. Blaze, go ahead.
All right, I have a few news. Where to start? Okay, I guess the first order of business is that Arizona will start the year off with having its first in-person meeting at a local library. Hopefully, we can get people to get some people of interest can come to the meeting, and we'll discuss our expectations for this year, my campaign, and everything that follows. The second order of business is that I've made contact with Nevada and Colorado. I've made contact with Hunter, and he talked about the possibility of Nevada becoming a PNC member state, and he agrees, but he's not particularly interested. Well, it's not that he's not particularly interested in being captain. It's just he has concerns about the finances of Nevada, but that's a whole other thing. But either way, Nevada is really poised, and I've offered my help to get Nevada on the ballot as a PNC member state. Anyway, for Colorado, I made contact with Zephyr, who gave an update on where Colorado was at. And unfortunately, the main guy, Red, went MIA, and they've been stagnating forever, ever since he went MIA. But Zephyr have made the offer of taking up the mantle for being Colorado's representative for PNC and help Colorado become a PNC member state. What was the third thing? I'm sorry for Zephyr not coming tonight. She said she couldn't make it today, but she plans on making it next week. For the third order of business is that I made contact with the Stop Killing Games movement on Discord. We talked a little bit with the main guy. What's his name? Anyway, he said that he'd be happy to help us, or at least me, where they can't. Well, this is what I said: is that I said that I humbly request support, even if you can't give it officially, and help drafting a rough first draft of such a Stop Killing Games bill that my campaign offers that is amenable for the U.S. And he said they agree. And yeah, I can't speak more about it, but that's currently where we're at. So yeah. You're muted, Mitch.
Oh, thank you, Blaze. I appreciate that. I'm looking forward to hearing from the Colorado Pirates, and hopefully we can get something going. You know, people going MIA, that happens, but as long as we got someone that's still willing to, you know, take on the reins and try to help, you know, get things going, it's all you ever need. You know, things might be slow, things might be, you know, moving at a pace that you may not be happy with, but things will be moving. And that we will all be talking about this in a little bit, believe you me. James, go ahead.
Yeah, I believe one of you guys mentioned the Stop Killing Games movement. Is that like just like a state thing, or is this like a national thing that's going on?
It's mostly a European movement, but there is some talks of bringing it to the United States. I cannot speak more about it because it's behind closed doors right now. But yeah, yeah.
All right.
I probably shouldn't be talking about it too much since shush.
Thank you, Blaze. I appreciate it. I was ready to copy over the link to the live stream. In fact, while I'm doing that, Ty, go ahead.
I just wanted to say from West Virginia observer point of view, even though we don't really have anything going on, what I do, I guess I just stamp right onto West Virginia Pirates. And lately what I've been doing is volunteering to help keep the local, it's called the Warming Center. It's not a homeless shelter, but it's pretty close to it. So if there's just trying to get the news propagated through the Pirate Party. So if you guys know anyone who is in need in West Virginia and around the Kaiser, West Virginia area, let them know. It opens at 7 p.m. and then it closes at 7 a.m. So you can go there, you can sleep. There's cots, there is food, and it's warm. There are bathrooms. And yeah, if it's cold out, you know what I mean? It gets really freezing cold out there some nights. So if anybody's in need, you can go to that. It's at 536 Virginia Street, again in Kaiser. And yeah, now just to make it very clear, once you go there, 7:30 is lock-in. You cannot leave. If you do, you cannot come back in, because that is not the mission there, right? The mission is to stay in, and that's it. If you do decide to leave, that you can. They're not you're not a prisoner, but there's no in and out type of thing. Other than that, again, there is food. There are blankets. There are very comfy pillows. My hotel actually donated those pillows last year. I don't know if they're the exact same ones, but yeah, we try to donate anything we can. So that's all I wanted to say. What West Virginia, what the West Virginia chapter is up to. So thank you.
Thank you, Ty. And then what is the name of that facility?
It's called the Warming Center.
Perfect. So if there is anyone,
I think.
Go ahead, Ty.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, if there is anyone who's, go ahead, Ty. I'm sorry.
You're fine. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna go. For those of you who are watching that are in the Kaiser area or may have a vested interest in the Warming Center, I did put up the address in the Warming Center up in the link to this video live stream. So anyone who is willing to share, would like to share, or is interested in the Warming Center themselves, that is available to you. So thank you, Ty. And then with me interrupting you, is there anything else from you?
No, I was just going to say, just for additional things, it's located at a church. So if you're on that street, Virginia Street, go to the very top. You cannot miss it. It's in the basement of the church. So, yep. I welcome people there. I don't want to see people there, but if it is a place for people to go, it's one of those. I want people to be there, but because they're there, this means that something may be wrong. But we do work with people, or we do try to work with people to get them permanent housing, because the idea isn't to keep this open forever. It's to keep it open during the winter season and have you in a home by the time winter is over. Summer. Yep, that's it.
Most excellent. Thank you, Ty. And then Drew, go ahead.
I just want to remind everybody that staying warm overnight is not just an issue with people that are homeless, because a lot of times this year, people's their furnaces go out. My grandparents went out right as it got cold, and if they didn't have other sources of heat in the house, they would have needed to find some other place to be. So that's just,
exactly.
It's not just about being homeless. It's about keeping warm, and shit happens, and it's good to have places like that. So I think that's a great thing that you're helping with, Ty.
Thank you.
I agree. Thank you, Ty. Thank you, Drew. And go ahead, Cy.
Just to add to that, this morning I went to downtown Billings, Montana, to the McCormick Cafe, whose heater had gone out overnight, and of course it's only 4 degrees below zero outside. And the problem they ran into is the HVAC guy couldn't source the parts he needed for this specific model. So I took the opportunity, while imbibing many hot drinks, to profess how great the right to repair movement would be when your heater goes out on a Sunday and you're trying to keep your mom busy, during Sunday brunch. So, that's something that's a really good plank to consider, is the right to repair your own heater should the need arise.
100%. And actually, I'm glad you brought up the platform plank of right to repair, because that will go into something I would like to talk about as we move towards 2026. But before I get into that conversation, I did want to ask Drew, is there any is there any campaign updates for your campaign?
Nothing specific for this week. It's been honestly, it's been a bit of a shit show with trying to get a bank account set up, because we got everything we need now, all our paperwork and everything, but now it's been just trying to get with the lady at the bank. So and then coordinating the people that need to be there at the same time, and so I'm hoping that we can get that done the first week of the year, once all these holidays are over, and banks are the worst for holidays, trying to get business done. So yeah, I need to reschedule my appointment because my last one got canceled because the woman that I needed to see was taking vacation for the holidays, and that's fine. I'm not mad at her for taking vacation over the holidays. It is what it is. So it's just things are getting a little delayed. We are planning some meet and greets here in the first couple of months. I don't have any details on them yet, but my campaign committee is working on getting those things set up, and we're working on getting contacting some petitioners that would be willing to circulate some petitions for me in the different areas that we need to cover. So we're moving along. One thing that happened this weekend is a local business owner was arrested by ICE because he's apparently an immigrant and not a citizen. And tonight in the freezing rain, cold. Now it's about 35 miles. It's not 30 miles. It's about 15 miles up the road in back roads for me, and it's ice and stuff, and my car is terrible and that stuff. So they had a vigil for him outside of his restaurant. I just want to say that ICE is terrible and needs to be abolished. And this is not the way that these are not the ICE and the regime are not operating in the way that they sold things to the American people. And if the people that are all anti-immigrant that go rah rah, get them all out, yeah, well that's not how it was sold during the campaign. It was sold we're going to get out the worst criminals and drug dealers and that crap. And what is it, like less than 10% of the people that they're arresting and deporting are actually have criminal records, something like that. So that's not what's happening. Good people, community members are getting arrested. We've seen dads that are just landscaping are getting arrested, and then even people that are citizens are getting arrested and detained. Maybe not taken into custody fully, but they're getting arrested. So this is not the way at all. So I just wanted to say that. And the one thing that I've been saying too, that people keep saying it's not that hard to become a legal blah blah blah, and there's a big argument over that. There's a lot of people that don't understand how difficult the system is to actually navigate. And what I've been saying in some of my posts is it should not be harder to become a fully documented immigrant in this country than it is to buy a fully automatic machine gun. I mean, anybody that is at all connected to the gun industry or the gun culture knows that it's a pretty lengthy process to do that, but it's still easier to get a machine gun in the United States than it is to become a fully documented immigrant.
Thank you, Drew. I agree. And besides the quote that Ty put forward, and thank you, Ty, for reminding me that was stated, all I could really say is less focus on dirty ice and more focus on clean water. Also, folks, if you are from Pennsylvania, it is Drew Bringeman for Pennsylvania State House 108. So if you guys are in the district of State House 108, your life, your way, your PA. Drew, that's a great phrase, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Sai, you did have your hand raised. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly comment on the amount of Native Americans I've seen being detained lately. And I'm not really sure where ICE is planning on shipping them off to. If their intention is to send us home, then I think the problem is I'm the immigrant. So I'm a little confused on what their strategy is there. But this just goes to prove this has nothing to do with immigration and everything to do with silencing dissent. I'm reminded of what happened at the Dakota Access Pipeline about a decade ago, and this is just more of the same. So I just want to say this isn't just affecting immigrants, but everybody.
100%. And to that point, you hear a lot of conservatives using the phrase old stock American. And that's usually because you see a lot of white conservatives who are Catholic and can't use the phrase WASP anymore. I don't see who is more old stock American than an indigenous, Native American. I think that's as old stock as it gets, personally. But you know, uh, this ice shit's really cramping my style, and I know it's cramping everyone else in this country, and it's disgusting. And I think if I said this in the Discord that the word tanky often gets used for people who support the Soviets sending tanks into Hungary, and they usually just use that as a slang against left wingers. If you support ICE, you're a tanky. As far as I'm concerned, you support the government using militaristic actions to silence dissent. You're a tanky. So every conservative that supports ICE, tanky, Pinko. Shut up. Wanda, go ahead.
I also wanted to remind, and this is because of what Drew mentioned about how hard it is to get documentation. I wanted to remind everyone about ICE arresting people who are going through the legal process, who are at their citizenship hearings, or people who are already legal permanent residents who are getting that legal status revoked, basically out of nowhere.
And to that same point, they've had the offer. You've seen, what's her name, Christy Noam, say, "Oh, if you deport yourself willingly, we'll give you $1,000." Everyone who's done that has not received their money. So the government's lying to people. Shocker, I know, but the government's lying to people to get people out and to get their dirty work done, and they're not even. It's a whole mess. Jester, go ahead.
I would just like to make sure that we're noting that we're seeing, because of this, we are seeing a rather unprecedented level of cooperation between the executive and judiciary branches of government. The fact that, judges and, members of the judiciary are actively now working with ICE to perform these arrests is kind of shocking, considering that these judges are supposed to serve the Constitution and the justice of the United States rather than the president. But I don't know. I guess considering ever since this past election, everyone in this country now has to serve Il Duce. But I just wanted that noted that it's like we're having such a change now that the judicial branch is now effectively serving the executive branch on a leash.
And this country only functions if we have three separate and fully functioning, branches of government. I don't want to see an executive branch that is all ruling and a judicial branch that is subservient to the executive branch. That's not how this country works. That's not how it was designed to work. And we didn't make it nearly 250 years of this country existing just for some a dictator to throw it away. It's, this is all things that are going to lead to the discussion we're going to have very shortly. But it's all things that I'm glad we're addressing, and it's all things that I'm glad that we care about deeply. To get into that, I had two separate people from two separate parts of the country reach out to me individually, pretty much saying the exact same thing, that they support the Pirate Party. They believe what the Pirate Party preaches. They think 2026 is a great opportunity for us to maybe gain some relevance, gain some importance, gain some influence. However, they do worry about the motion of the party, I suppose. Is there more progress over process, or where there should be progress, is there only process? Do we have more motion over intent? We've been, what I want to point forward is one of the conversations that I had is this party is very good at holding weekly meetings. This party is very good at, I suppose, I want to use the phrase harvesting or harnessing conversations. I feel like, whereas this morning I woke up to a wall of pink from the European contingent on the Discord, I do think that we do have a good number of discussions that are never easy, but always fruitful. I think that the fact that I can talk about banishment as a form of punishment in a Discord server and have it seriously be talked about, and it's not because I believe in banishment, it's to point out the idea that, hey, is a penal colony any different than jail, the way that we have it set up currently? And the fact that we can have those types of conversations is a area and this is a place that I prize that we can kind of be a little outside the box and have legitimate conversations and get to certain conclusions. However, I think that as a party where we need to refocus is we don't provide enough for people outside the party to get involved outside of simply attending a meeting. uh, when I first got here, one of the first things I noticed, and now mind you, I've been here for 5 years. This is I'm talking back in 2020. When I first got here, we had outreach meetings and we had the PNC meetings, and then a little after I got involved, we were having platform meetings, and that was weekly. We had Monday platform, Tuesday outreach, Sunday, the PNC meetings. What I laughing at Jester's comment. What we have to do, I think personally, moving forward into 2026 and beyond, we have to get back to what we're good at. I think we have a bunch of idle committees that can use a lot of work that can at least, while it's more meetings, and I know that seems counterintuitive to what I'm trying to say, I think having the opportunity to have the committees produce things for people to do. I think that platform committee, it's great to add to our platform, and I think having a platform committee constantly working, constantly going over our platform, keeping it up to date, that's fantastic. But we also need an outreach committee. We need to make sure that we have pamphlets created. Even memes. If people are like so into the party that they're creating memes about the party, that's huge because it's 2025 and we've come to learn that people will be swayed by a good meme. So I think that one of the focuses I want to go in 2026 and beyond is just making sure that we not only have active committees and active processes, I want to make sure that we have more events. I want to make sure that we have more camera walks. I want to make sure that we create more handouts and pamphlets and little, just I want to be able to say that this is an active breathing movement. And it's not that we're not currently an active breathing movement. I want to get to the point where I don't have to say that, where it just is obvious upon looking in, that whenever someone steps in, they see, oh, this is the Pirate Party and there's things to do and there's people working. We have experienced growth since I've been here, the likes of which I have not seen. The fact that we are in the position that we are in right now to where I'm making announcements and I have people messaging me saying, hey, what about my state? Isn't my state close? That rocks. It rocks that I'm forgetting people, that I'm forgetting states that are so close to being formed. And yet, we have to come up with ways to capitalize on that. I would like to see just more from the Pirate Party moving forward. I don't know exactly what to present you with other than I think there's going to be more events in 2026. There's going to be I, I'm really circling at this point because I've said all I really needed to say. I just wanted to say that between the two people from the two different parts of the country that reached out, their concerns were nearly identical if their wording was ever so slightly tweaked. And it was just simply that, hey, I like the party, and I just don't know if there's enough momentum that warrants my investment into building up this party, and that's fair. I want to give them a party that they feel the need that this is worth investing in. To put too long didn't read. Let's build a party worth investing in. Drew, go ahead.
I just want to say that the thing is, when you have an attitude like that, that I'm not going to invest in a party that doesn't look like it's has movement. Well, we don't have movement unless we have people involved. So you're putting the cart before the horse there. We need people to get involved. We need people to do things and whatever you want to do. It's not this is not, we need everything, right? We need people to do everything. We need members. We need to grow our movement. And one of the best ways we can grow our movement is keep talking about things, talking about our issues, talking about our principles. And, that's the best way to do it. I mean, I will give you the example that I was part of the Libertarian Party for quite a while. And we always said we were the largest third party in the United States. And honestly, in my area, it still was me and like two other people that did everything in this area. So it's difficult, even in the bigger cities here in Pennsylvania, like one of like the Philly party, the Philly Libertarian Party was usually like 6 guys, and that's in a county of 2 million people. Okay, as we need activists, we need people that are willing to do work. It doesn't matter what you want to do, but if you like our ideas, you should contribute in some way.
Thank you, Drew. And I couldn't have, thank you. Couldn't have said that better. I appreciate your input. I believe it's Jester then Wanda.
Thank you, Mitch. So I'm going to say I both agree and disagree with you, Drew. So on paper, I completely 100% agree. We need more commitment. At least, or people, if they're actively looking for political parties, I feel like they need to be, more, if you're expecting it to already be grown by the time you're joining it, you're not looking to grow a party. You're looking to just, be part of it with like that's your little badge and whatnot. However, and I'm going to play devil's advocate here, I'm willing to bet that the people who reached out to Mitch were younger than most of you. And I say that as one of the youngest members of the Pirates. Is that, and I'll say this as someone who talks to mostly teenagers and 20-somethings. A lot of them, the reason they're not joining third parties is just because they are fed up with everything. And not only are fed up, they are so used to not getting anything done, and even third parties not being able to get anything done, that they've sort of given up on politics. So I think that this, outreach of us and asking what have we done is simultaneously both asking us what are we doing, but is also a challenge to us to be better, and that we need to actually get material improvements, and we need to have stuff that we can provably show that the Pirates have done both in our communities and on local elections to push our beliefs and push progress forward. And that is my 2 cents on the issue.
Thank you, Ashley. I appreciate it. Let's make 2 cents 4 and go with Wanda.
I actually don't have anything to say.
Then we will collect that at 2 cents. Thank you. And really to the point, just to kind of address everyone with what they said, I think it's not that we're doing anything wrong. I think it's that we can be better. I don't think that we can do anything without the hands on deck. Obviously, we need volunteers, and if you're watching, we need volunteers. I've called out, whatever states that we're looking for, whether it be North Carolina, whether it be West Virginia, whether it be Ohio, we need help anywhere we can get. We have 56 state parties that we can form, all the way from Alabama to the Northern Mariana Islands. If you're out there and if you are under U.S. jurisdiction, you can form a pirate party, and we want to have you. But our role as the pirate party, our responsibility is to give people something to get excited about or to believe in. And even though, yes, we are a party and we put it forward our meetings, and this is as transparent, this is live streamed. Everyone who's watching right now is knowing exactly what the pirate party thinks behind the scenes. It just needs to be, for me. Also, and your assumption, Ashley, the 2 people that reached out to me, one was younger, one was elder. I don't want to call them an elder, but they were older, and they said as much when they reached out to me. But they, so we are getting people from all walks of life coming in, and that's a story I can get to in a sec. But we do have an opportunity to be better in 2026, just like we've had an opportunity to be better in 2025 and in 2024 and in 2023. And if I go back and track everything, we have gotten better every year. I think that what these messages said to me more than anything else is just that we have to show that we are worth. Okay, I understand the idea of show we're worth investing in. Seems real shitty to us. Well, let's prove that you should give us your time and energy. You know, and I get that. If you feel the compelled to give us your time and energy, please help us help you, help us. But I do feel like people should look at the party and see, wow, I could just jump right into this and get my feet wet and get involved. And that's all I'm ultimately trying to do is trying to make sure that we got things for people to do, things for people to read, things for people to discuss. I want people to be able to say, I hold the pirate stance on this. And there be no question about what that pirate stance is. And obviously it takes a lot of work, and that takes a lot of effort on our part to make sure that every stance is clearly pirate. However, that's not an impossible task. And further, I think that's a task where I believe it's just a matter of keeping up with current events. Like, for example, I think after every meeting starting tomorrow, and we've done this with most meetings when things were rather prevalent, whenever there was something to do or something to really report on. But I think every meeting on Monday, I should post in case you missed it, based on these meetings. Because at least then we know that every Monday there's a new post on the website and people can follow up on what happened. If should they have missed the live stream, we could post the live stream tomorrow. It's just, there are just certain things that in 2026, we are not a social club that occasionally runs candidates. We are a political party. And I want us to, I want us to matter at the national level. I want us to matter locally. I want us to matter globally. You know, we are a local work in a global movement. We're not politicians, we are your neighbors. But your neighbors still need to get the word out. And that's in 2026 and beyond. I just want to, I suppose all I'm really calling for is a greater pirate presence in the general public moving forward. I think we've got to put ourselves more out there and be heard. Wanda, go ahead.
I mean, I just wanted to say that, like, I do kind of understand the sentiment of wanting to know it's worth your time to invest in the pirate party, because I mean, especially when you're in a state that doesn't have an active pirate party, it's a huge commitment. I mean, you spend a lot of time, like, managing social media accounts and recruiting people and working on your website and showing up to committee meetings and getting all of your stuff in order. And there's not a ton of return on investment, I'll admit. Like, you use a lot of your time working on the pirate party. And I mean, you only have so many hours in the day, especially if you're someone who's, working, or you have kids or family to take care of. And like, it's a lot for people. So I mean, I do kind of understand that sentiment from that point of view.
Right, and again, none of this is to try to belittle any position on it. I think the only reason I'm even bringing it up at all, I think if it was one person, that I was able to reach out and just, kind of, because for in both cases, I laid out a spiel about, 2026, and I did address concerns in both cases, and neither person said, I don't like your answer, I'm leaving, sorry. Both people said, like, well, I like the cut of your jib and I think I want to stick around and see what happens, which is more than I could ever ask for. This is ultimately an open source project where people come and go as they please and contribute as much or as little as they wish to. So
It,
go ahead.
I always love to see new people come in. I mean, we need as many people as we can get. I mean, quite frankly, there's just never enough of us. Too many of us are wearing multiple hats all the time.
And unfortunately, that is a true statement. So I remember one of the reasons that the outreach committee stopped having regular meetings is because our outreach committee chair, AJ, became the captain. So suddenly that wasn't too many hats he was wearing. He had to take off the outreach committee hat. So these things happen. I don't want to give people more tasks than they could balance, but I want to give people an opportunity to take on tasks. Like I feel like the party is going to only be built if people feel compelled to build it, obviously. But we have to give them something to show that, like, hey, this is a bait. Not everyone knows how to build from scratch, to put it lightly. Not everyone knows how to just start from nothing and build up. Some people need some type of base, and whether that base is, hey, it's a Tuesday outreach committee meeting and we're building memes today. Hey, it's Tuesday outreach and we're building a pamphlet for clean water. Whatever the case may be. Hey, it's IT and we're going to clean up the wiki. Whatever it ends up being. Just as long as we have that. Uh, I just want to see motion in the positive direction. Blaze, go ahead.
I'm just gonna say the only thing I'm really gonna say is that as the state that most recently became a PNC member, who pretty much started with almost nothing, only like a Twitter account and a good logo to start with. I didn't honestly expect to be the captain of the Arizona Pirate Party, but when I realized I was pretty much it, I realized to myself that if if it's me and only me, but it's not me, then who? You know? So I can either rise to the occasion or let this opportunity waste away and Arizona doesn't become a state member, and I just have to hope to God someone comes in. So sometimes it's just about someone raising their hand and saying, I will do it. I will rise to the occasion. I will lead the state. Unfortunately, there's just not a lot of people who can do that or want to do that. Some people just want to like join the party and just, stay in their lane, so to speak, because it is a responsibility. Not everybody wants to raise their hand and be that responsible person. So it is a lot to ask, but at the same time, there's also no excuses in a way. I don't know, just my 2 cents.
No, and your 2 cents is much appreciated, Blaze. And for what it's worth, and James, this is for you as well. Illinois, it took a long time for Illinois to be a state party. And in fact, if you look around, there is currently no Illinois rep at this meeting. So things aren't always going to be easy. It's not going to be as simple as, oh, well, once I'm a state party, everything's good to go. You may not have reps showing up weekly. You may not have the help that you hope for. But to Blaze's point, because Blaze, you're 100% correct. You do have to, if not you, then who? Sometimes if you want something, it's going to have to be you, which it's hard work. But if I could tell you right now that sometimes maybe building a pirate party is a thankless task, but I am so I feel in my 5+ years being here, I don't feel like I've wasted any time building the Illinois Pirate Party, and I don't think anything that I've done to contribute to the building of the U.S. Pirate Party has been time left in vain. So it is not a straight line. It's not going to happen overnight, but when it happens, it's going to feel good that it happened. And I want to make it clear that anyone who's building a party, that it's it's not the easiest process, but it's worth it in the end, if you ask me. And then Drew, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say, and continue on with what Blaze was saying is that's what's called leadership, Blaze. That the those of us who are willing to actually look around and see this isn't getting done, and so I guess I'm going to try to do something. That's leadership. It doesn't, not everybody that needs to get involved with the pirate party needs to do that. We need a few people in each state that are willing to do that. We need a few people at the nationally that are willing to do that. But overall, there's plenty of places for people within the United States Pirate Party to just plain get involved, even if it's just joining the Discord and reading the wikis and saying, yes, I agree with this, or I don't agree with that. Or, when there is somebody that's willing to stand up and actually do the work, I will help. You don't always have to do it yourself, but we do need some people in a lot of states to do that. But not everybody has to do that. So
I agree.
Just rolling that out there.
I fully agree. That's what I was alerting to.
Yeah.
In the first place was what I was saying. There's like not a lot of people want to assume the leadership role.
Yeah, and
in this party.
And I just wanted to call it out and say that's what it is. It is leadership, whether you're going at it with the intent of leading the party or not. You're leading the party just by going and doing things.
Yeah. The leadership itself is not the problem with the party. It's that not enough people want to raise their hand and lead the party.
Thank you both. And then Sai, go ahead.
Well, that's the paradox, isn't it? Is anybody who actually wants power doesn't deserve it. Ironically, it's the people like us who don't want the job who should have it. So that's what qualifies us, is we don't want to do this. This is a terrible job. Nobody in their right mind would want to do this, but we're here. What have you got to lose by giving us a shot? I don't think anything could be any more weird or messed up.
Careful, Ty. You're talking like a future captain. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. You guys, I mean, I came to this meeting fully anticipating just talking about, what I've laid out, and everything you guys have said has been exactly what I've been hoping for. I am looking for just, feedback on did I call you Ty again?
You did.
Fuck. Sai, I'm on timeout. I'm not allowed to speak anymore. Anyways, Sai, thank you. Ty's gone too. I have no excuse. That said, thank you guys for speaking up on these issues. This is all stuff I wanted to talk about dearly and just put out into the world. In 2026, I just want to see a more active pirate party. And obviously, I'm not asking us to take on more tasks. I'm just simply asking, that we give something, that let's just keep building this party. That's all I'm really trying to say. Let's keep building this party. And I'm proud of the progress that we've made up to this point, and I'm proud of where we're going. And the two people that reached out to me, if you happen to be watching, I hope that we have addressed some of your concerns, and I hope that we've put some of your worries at rest. And just know that in 2026 and beyond, I fully anticipate having more for us to do and more for you to see. Which does bring me to a captain's request, I suppose, a work item. Outreach committee meetings typically have happened on Tuesday. They don't need to happen on Tuesday. There doesn't need to be a set time in particular, but the same with IT it helps having a set day and a set time. Uh, while I believe that anyone, and I do mean anyone because I at one point ran it, can ran a committee, could run a committee. Uh, I think that there's one person in particular in this room who has a specific role designed for a specific committee. So, Sai, if you may, uh, would you be willing to take on the reins as chair of the outreach committee?
Happily, that's all I do. I was just reaching out to my cat right now to get his attention. It's not working, but I'm willing to put in the time to reach out to whomever, wherever, whenever, even if I have to time travel, I will reach out.
Well, thank you, Sai. I appreciate it. I know, and in your role as PR director, you've asked for a few things or to be able to do a few things. I feel as outreach chair, you may have a better opportunity to do some of those things. Just given, maybe it's another hat on a hat, but I think you're the man that can get that committee up and running again.
Yeah, it comes with the territory. That's where we're leading anyway. And like I said, I don't want the job, which means that I must be probably overqualified for it. So let's just get it out of the way and get on with it. Let's move on to 2026. Yeah, there's the kitty. This is Conan O'Brien, by the way, right here.
Oh, the orange fella?
Yeah, the one with the flu feet. Yeah, that's Conan.
Oh, that rocks. Thank you. And thank you, Sai, for taking on that hat. I do appreciate it. As of right now, and Morgan, is it fair to call you IT committee chair, or would you feel more comfortable just saying you're working with IT committee?
I seem to be the default leader there, so yeah, that's fine.
Well, as it happens in this party, these things just fall into people's laps. So thank you, Morgan. I do appreciate you taking that reign as well.
Mm-hmm.
We also have platform committee, and we have press committee, and we have, I think, media committee became press committee, so ignore that last one. However, we have committees that are sitting dormant that I think can really help the party if they weren't. So anyone who's willing to step up to that, like Cy and Morgan, all the work that you guys do, it's much appreciated. Blaze, go ahead.
Who's the head of the press committee? Would that be Cy?
I mean, technically, if there's no head of a committee, technically it would be Ty, and that's not me mixing up your name. That's legitimately the policy here. No,
Okay.
Ty as vice chair technically would be leading any unled or unchaired committees. So I guess for lack of a better answer right now, it's Ty. But anyone who's willing to run a meeting and say like, hey, can we get a media committee meeting going on Thursday at 7 or whatever time they say. Anyone who just says, "Hey, let's get a meeting going," you're pretty much the picking up the baton and running with it.
All right.
So,
All right, what's the press committee do again? I need to refresh my mind.
Hold on, give me just a moment.
Yeah, please. I don't want to make up an answer, Wanda. If you actually have a real answer, I would much appreciate yours.
So is the press committee an official committee? Like, did the PNC vote on making that committee?
I am not sure if any committee has been made official. And that's me being completely transparent. And now correct me if I'm wrong. If the bylaws state that there are certain committees already there,
the bylaws don't specify which committees are there. On the Pirate Wiki, there are 4 committees listed: Outreach, Platform, Finances, and IT.
Well, the finance committee, that's odd. I feel like
I see press. I see press. I see.
Yeah,
I see
we have-
5. I see 5 committees on the main wiki. IT.
I was
Pirate.
looking at the committee's article on the PNC Quick Reference.
Okay.
Under Article 7 of the bylaws, that talks about committees, but it doesn't really say a whole lot. I can read it off for you if you want me to.
No, that's fine. Well, in any event, if there isn't on anything on the bylaws, that's probably something we should rectify.
Absolutely. So, for what it's worth, actually, I'm going to read what you said now. Subcommittee. So, based on what that says, it doesn't sound like there's any necessary like designation for a committee, so much as that a subcommittee would just be the working group. Anyone that's willing to work on a certain aspect. So, like when we talk about finance committee, that's one that I would most certainly have the bean counter and the treasurer tackle. I would prefer that they at least had their hands involved in the running of those meetings. Whereas obviously PR director is the perfect one for outreach, and then press, as for what it's worth. Blaze, since that has been pointed out, if we could get an update in the wiki about just the committees or however, not no bylaw changes, that we don't edit the bylaws obviously, but just wherever Wanda was linked that had the certain committees listed, and then wherever you clicked had certain committees listed, there was obviously some type of discrepancy. If we could
I'll
just
send the link to where I was looking.
yeah,
I was looking at the main page of the wiki.uspirates.org.
well,
It's in the chat.
oh, perfect. Just as long as that gets cleaned up, because that was also another thing, is just making sure our wiki stays up to date. Just making sure everything stays
Okay,
up to date.
I do see what you were talking about now, Blaze. It's like right underneath where I was. So there's like a little section that says committees on the main page, and it lists IT, the PNC, press, promotions, and policy.
Okay, so obviously we need to fix the committees on the wiki and what's what.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I also think it may be good to clarify what committees there are, because I've never once heard anyone ever talk about the finance committee.
I'm now
Yes.
hearing about it.
I think this is the first I'm hearing of it. So I think
Yeah, we need to update that.
yeah, we will need an update. Whether we do that tonight or next week, we definitely, that's something that we should be focused on. The only committees I for sure know, the three committees obviously that are certain that I'm completely confident about existing, is platform, IT, and outreach. After that, the only reason I know press committee exists is because it's in the Discord, and that Liz said, "Oh, we stopped the media committee. It's now the press committee." So to me, it seems like Liz put enough thought into it to codify it, or not codify, but to. I feel confident enough in saying those four. Anything else, and conference committee, I suppose, but that comes around once a year. But otherwise, it is those are the committees that I feel comfortable saying exist. Anything else, I mean, a finance committee could come up if the treasurer and the auditor wish to have a committee talk about finances and maybe fundraising or whatever. That'd be great, but that's not something that I would say we currently have.
And I also feel like a lot of these committees that are listed kind of overlap with each other, like the press and promotions.
Mm-hmm. I'd be willing to say that promotions committee is just the press committee. I don't know why that they're listed under a different name.
I also do feel like the press committee fits Psy more than outreach, but that's just me.
They're kind of two sides of the same coin. So you're right, but we do need an official committee. You're right.
I also assume that policy and platform are the same thing, given that platform isn't even mentioned there.
I would say so. And to your point, Blaze, I do think that press and outreach I think press may fit Psy's position a little bit better. However, I think having a strong outreach committee is a little more pressing than having the strong press committee, which is why I'm specifying it. And if nothing else, what did I call him? Ty again?
No, you said pressing, more pressing than the press committee.
Oh, everyone shut up. That said, though, yeah, it great. That said, I think that having a strong outreach committee will do us better in the short term. Whereas the press committee, once we have a functioning outreach committee, I think a press committee comes naturally. So I'm just trying to put, don't take out your litter. I would never. Uh, so I'm just trying to put one foot in front of the other so we could walk this mile, but ultimately we're going to get there. Otherwise, I think the only thing left to do is ask, is there anything else to talk about?
Mars has his hand up.
I'm sorry, Mars and then James.
So I was just gonna say, in the event of having a finance committee, um, if you ever need somebody who knows how to handle taxes and all that, I actually just, got a job with being a preparer. So I'm gonna actually have like an ID number for being able to do that if you ever need it.
That is something we probably will keep in mind. I think that it's never a bad thing to have. So thank you.
Yep.
And then James, go ahead.
All right, my question is like for Sai, when do you plan on doing your first outreach committee meeting? Because
Could you repeat that, please?
yes, Sai, will you plan on doing a an outreach committee meeting? Because I really need help trying to reach out to North Carolinians because I feel like I've done all I could to on my end to try to find some North Carolinians who are interested in joining, but I've had very little success, and I would like some help.
Yes, and that's the question is do we focus on specific areas or broad? And you're absolutely right. As we discussed earlier, it's hard to get any sort of support anybody unless they really engage in us. So we do need to be more active and outgoing, and that's basically what we want to do it at the beginning of the new year. That's kind of going to be our New Year's resolution, is to actually actually literally reach out, not just metaphorically, but follow through. So I think that's a great New Year's resolution, don't you, folks? Let's reach out more, and that's how we're going to start this new year. How does that sound?
I think I like the cut of your jib, Si. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Wanda, go ahead.
Just wanted to say I do think it would be good to talk specifically about North Carolina at the outreach meetings since they're so close to having that alternate rep, which is really all they need at this point. Um, and so it'd be good to workshop ideas on how to help North Carolina with their outreach specifically. Who did we lose there?
Blaze just cut out. Uh, and I agree. I think one of those things during outreach meetings, perhaps we can discuss, what are some of the pirate issues that could be pushed forward? What are some of the ways that we can raise awareness to what we believe in? James, I know specifically for your North Carolina Pirate Party, you guys passed that fantastic health and fitness plank. How do we get that idea across the North Carolinians, eyes? Uh, so yes, obviously it's all coming together. I think the it's a good topic for outreach. I think as long as we have meetings and hold opportunities for people to get involved and give people things to see, read, and do, I think we're going to be in great shape. Uh, and then I believe there is nothing else anyone wanted to talk about, so I will simply ask for a motion to adjourn. Wanda, go ahead.
I hate to be that person, but what I have is not a motion to adjourn. Um, I did want to mention briefly that Idaho has been doing some work on a website for the Idaho Pirate Party. Tansy's reached out to me and was asking questions, but they do have something up right now. It's just forked from the Florida website, so it still has some of the Florida branding. but Idaho is working on a website.
Thank you, Wanda, and that is fantastic news. And I do believe Tansy was actually the one who reached out to me and said, "Hey, isn't Idaho one of the states that's just on the cusp of being a party?" And I went, "Golly, you're right." And I had to include him in the announcement because, again, what a wonderful problem to have that we have so many potential states that I'm actually forgetting a person or two. But not to forget our Western contingent, everyone out there, Cy, you included. The fact that we're getting the Pirate Party growing out west is an incredible feat. It's incredible, and I love to see it. So it's positive growth and positive direction. James, North Carolina will come soon enough. I know you're getting, you feel frustrated or you feel like you hit a stone wall. Don't fret about anything. You're building it, and if you build it, they will come, in due time. Pirates of the Rocky Mountains. Who would have thought? You know what? Stranger things have happened, evidently. Now, Wanda, I will thank you for that, and I will ask the board one more time if motion to adjourn. Drew, go ahead.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Oh, thank you, Drew. And then do I have a second?
I'll
Second.
Oh, perfect. Second by a second. That's a fourth. Is there any objections? Hearing none. In that case, folks, I'm willing to call the final meeting of 2025, the December 28th meeting, to a close, which means, folks, thank you so much for attending. We look forward to bringing you a healthy, active Pirate Party in 2026 and beyond. And you know something, Drew? You know why I love this party? I love this party because we believe the United States should be a good neighbor. We believe in cool, clean water, like Hank said, and the Sons of Pioneers. And we believe if purchasing isn't ownership, well, then piracy isn't theft. Folks, thank you for watching. Happy New Year. Vote pirate, and victory is ours.